As you all know, this is our Srimad Bhagavatam program where we read prayers of pure devotees. The current theme is prayers of King Chitraketu. These are very beautiful prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, verse 34 to 48. Today we have a very amazing devotee and our Shiksha Guru, His Grace Sara Prabhu, who's kindly accepted to present today. And it's our great fortune to hear from Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vinamataji. Thank you very much for the introduction. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all for joining. I'm a substitute speaker today. Some other devotees supposed to speak. They could not do it due to some valid reason, so I am speaking. So as Mataji said, we have been discussing about King Chitraketu's prayers, which is recorded in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 16th chapter, verses 34 to 48. All are very beautiful verses. But in the interest of time, I'm going to just focus on one verse, which is verse number 39. So Radha Damodar Prabhu is going to share the screen. Prabhu, can you go up a little bit? Yeah, thank you. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the Sanskrit verse, Kamadhyastvai rachitha na paramaro yatha karamba bijani jnanatmani agunamaye gunaganatashyat dvandva jalani. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O Supreme Lord, if persons obsessed with material desires for sense gratification through material opulence worship you, who are the source of all knowledge and are transcendental to material qualities, they are not subject to material rebirth, just as sterilized or fried seeds do not produce plants. Living entities are subjected to the repetition of birth and death because they are conditioned by material nature. But since you are transcendental, one who is inclined to associate with you in transcendence escapes the conditions of material nature. Om Jnanatamirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Saksharan Malitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langyate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dina Taranam. So this is again, it's a glorification of the Supreme Lord by Chitraketu Maharaj. So here, in this verse, there's a one-line summary of this verse is praising the Supreme Lord by showing the results of worshipping the Supreme Lord. So before I dive at least to high level deep into this verse 39, I would like to refer to verse 38, which is the previous verse, to have a connection to this verse. So in the previous verse, Chitraketu Maharaj was glorifying the Supreme Lord by saying the Devata worship or demigod worship is not equal to worshipping the Supreme Lord. So it's a beautiful verse again. He says, Vishaya Trisho Nara Pashavo Ya Upashate Vibhutir Na Param Tvam. No? He says very nicely that Vishaya Trisho Nara Pashavo, the unintelligent persons who has strong, very strong desire or obsessed with sense enjoyment or very strong desire for sense enjoyment, they worship various devatas. So that's what he is saying. He refers to devatas in that verse, Ya upashate vibhutir na paramtvam. Vibhutir here refers to devatas. He says the devatas are vibhuti, meaning vibhuti means a small power of the Supreme Lord. If you see in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, the Vibhuti Yoga or the opulence of the Absolute, Krishna talks about his powers, how we can perceive in the material world. He says, for example, he says, of all the mountains, I am Himalayas. And he says, of all animals, I am lion. Of all fish, I am Makara. So like that, no, these are vibhutis of the Lord. In the sense, you see a small power or astonishing thing in the material world or in material manifestation, there is nothing but a small spark of his splendor. So these things show some power of the Lord in the material world. And also, it's not only the material objects, the powerful material objects that we see in the material world, even the devatas are also vibhuti. Not only devatas, the great rishis or sages, even the manus are also vibhutis of the Lord. Indra is a vibhuti. Agni, the fire god, is also vibhuti. Swayambhu Manu is also vibhuti. The great sages such as the Pulatsya Muni is also a vibhuti, meaning these personalities are given special powers by the Lord to perform different functions in the material world. So that's what it means, vibhuti means. So devatas are given power to rule over the material energy. But generally people worship devatas to get some material opulence for sense enjoyment. So they generally people equate the devata worship with religion and say that a particular devata is a supreme lord, because they think that if somebody grants them what they want, and they are considered to be supreme. So some people think a particular devata is a supreme. But Srimad Bhagavatam rejects this idea. And it says it is a cheating religion. If you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, second verse itself, it just establishes that dharmo projita kaitava atra paramo nirmat saranam satam, it says, no? Projita kaitava. Projita means a very strong word, actually. It strongly rejects this kind of a cheating religion which teaches people to worship devatas to get some material gain. So Bhagavatam rejects that. Why? Because Bhagavatam establishes the real religion. Real religion is to worship the Supreme Lord, not his vibhutis. Why? Because Supreme Lord is the source of all vibhutis. So that's why his name is Vibhu. Krishna's name, another name is Vibhu. Vibhu means, I'll put it like this: all powerful, all pervasive, all knowing. But the vibhutis are limited, but Vibhu is unlimited. So Bhagavatam recommends, mandates basically for Kali Yuga people to worship the Supreme Lord, and that is real religion. So if you worship vibhutis or devatas, most of them are jiva tattvas anyway. So the results obtained from the devatas are also temporary. So people who choose to worship devatas are considered to be less intelligent, and also they don't have complete understanding of what the absolute truth is. So Srimad Bhagavatam represents the highest truth, which is worshipping the Supreme Lord. By doing so, what happens? We get eternal benefit, not the temporary benefit, or not the temporary material benefit we get from Devata worship, but by worshipping the Lord, we get eternal benefit, permanent. So one who worships the Supreme Lord is considered to be intelligent. So in verse 38, Chitraketu Maharaj completely rejects the idea of worshipping anyone other than the Supreme Lord, because he is the highest truth. So then, once we establish who is the Supreme Lord, then we should worship him with all our hearts. Yes, we may still have some material desires, but it is said that it is okay to ask the Supreme Lord for fulfilling those desires than going to devatas or others. Because the Lord is source of everything, so he can give material things to us. But when he gives it, he would purify us also. So, but if you see from the pure devotional service point of view or pure bhakti point of view, praying for the material things is also less intelligent. So it's not that you worshipping devata is less intelligent, but from seeing from the pure bhakti point of view, even praying for material gain to Supreme Lord is also less intelligent. Who says that? Dhruva Maharaj says it. In the 4th canto, what the verse? It says, the manda bhagyasya pashyata. So he says that I am so unfortunate fool, Manda Bhagyasya, that I pray to the Lord for the things that are perishable. Perishable means material things. What did Dhruva Maharaj ask Krishna? For kingdom. But when Dhruva saw the Lord, he finally realized, and he says that I was worshipping the Lord for kingdom, which is material and temporary. But when I see the Lord, I understand that He is the most wonderful, most beautiful, and most blissful. And he had a realization that Lord is the most valuable compared to anything else in this entire existence. So Dhruva Maharaj says, he is a fool to ask for the kingdom. So from the pure devotional point of view, pure bhakti point of view, even going to the Supreme Lord for material desires is also less intelligent. But however, if you go to the Lord for the material things instead of devatas, still we are in a better position. So that's a very important point. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam says in the second canto, very famous verse, whether you have no desires or you have all material desires or you have desire for different types of liberation, you should still worship the Supreme Lord. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tivarana bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Because the Lord will give eternal benefits through purification of heart. So, how He gives eternal benefit? How does He purify us? That is verse 39 here. That King Chitraketu is praying, is glorifying the Lord. So if you see in this verse, it's very interesting for me. The 2 points are the 2 terms that are used to describe the Supreme Lord. Prabhu, can you go up? No, scroll up to the verse.
Up to the verse, okay.
Yeah, let's stop here. Yeah. So here, if you see, the Supreme Lord is described as Jnana Atmani. Jnana Atmani meaning he is composed of all transcendental knowledge. And he is also described as Agunamaye. In the 3rd line, if you see. Agunamaye means who does not have any material quality. So guna means material quality. Aguna means no material qualities. So the Lord has no material gunas and is full of knowledge. So this is opposite of what we see in the material world, because the material world is full of ignorance. There is no recognition of the Supreme Lord. There is no recognition of the process of bhakti. There is no recognition of devotees. And so the material world is full of ignorance and is full of gunas also. Gunas means modes of material nature everywhere and everything. You can see the modes, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, but here in this verse, Chitraketu Maharaj is describing the Lord as completely opposite of everything in the material world. So therefore, if one worships the Supreme Lord, this is the idea. One worships the Supreme Lord, then one will develop the qualities like the Supreme Lord. So that's the very important point given in this verse. By association with the Lord through the process of bhakti, one will develop similar qualities of the Lord. So the best association is to worship the Lord and act favorably towards the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, can you go down to the purport? Yeah. All the way down. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, quotes this verse. I think this verse is from 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very famous verse. Kama dveshad bayat snehat yata bhaktya ishvare mana. This verse meaning people may approach Krishna due to various reasons. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting the first line. Kama dveshat bayat snehat. Therefore, he is giving 4 reasons. People approach Krishna for kama, material desires, or dvesha. Dvesha means hatred or hostility towards the Lord, or bayat, out of fear also. They're fearful of the Lord and they approach him in a negative way. And snehat means affection. They approach the Lord with love and devotion. But regardless of the reason, they will get good result. So this is really amazing. Here, if you see in this, the kama, dvesha, bhayat, sneha, the four elements are spoken. The dvesha and bhaya are unfavorable elements. This means that even if one has unfavorable relationship with the Lord, that also will yield good result. So of course, having an unfavorable relationship with the Lord is not conducive for bhakti, but it is exceptional in one sense. That's what Prabhupada quotes that. Why it's exceptional? It is exceptional in the sense that it actually applies to Krishna only. It is not applied so much to the other avatars of the Lord or other forms of the Lord. In the Nectar of Devotion, Sri Rupa Goswami lists 64 qualities of the Lord, Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord means here Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Varahadev, Vamanadev, Narsinghadev, all forms of the Lord. In that, Krishna has all 64 qualities. So in the 64 qualities that Srila Rupa Goswami lists, one of the qualities that distinguishes the Lord from others, such as Devatas or the very empowered humans, such as Manus and etc., is when the Lord kills the demons. They get good birth or they get good result. Very important point. Rupa Goswami doesn't say that if the demons are killed by avatars of the Lord, they get moksha. He didn't say that. He said they will get good results or good birth. But if Krishna kills the demons, they get liberation. It's Mukunda. So the avatars of the Lord killing the demons, they get good birth or good result is a normal case. I'll give an example. Varahadev. Varahadev kills Hiranyaksha. Or Narsinghadev kills Hiranyakashipu. Or they don't get liberation in the spiritual world. They get a good body in the next life, in the material world. They don't get the hellish body. They don't get hellish condition of life. Because generally when the demons fight with the Lord or when somebody is hostile towards the Lord, because they are aparatis, so the offenders, they are supposed to go to hell. But that does not happen when the Supreme Lord kills them. So just to give an example, Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsinghadev and he got a nice birth in the next life. He became Ravana. Yes, he's a demon. Ravana was a demon, but he had a very opulent material life. So similarly, when Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana, in the next life he became Shishupal. So Shishupal also had a good life, materially speaking. He did not go to hell. So this is the normal case when different forms of the Lord kills demons. But when Krishna kills them, they actually get liberation or they go to spiritual world. Very, very interesting and very, very amazing also. So when Shishupal was killed by Krishna, he went to the spiritual world and he got a spiritual form. So we can say that by dvesha or bhaya towards Krishna, we get spiritual result. But with other forms of the Lord, one gets good result in the material world. So Krishna is a very special case. So then one may wonder why it is that. So all forms of the Lord are equal from the tattva point of view. But why Krishna is a very special case? That's because Acharya says Krishna has attractive spiritual qualities. He has attractive spiritual form. It is explained by the Acharya that because of the absorption in Krishna through hatred, Shishupal become purified. So previously when he was a Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, he didn't absorb himself in the Lord. Very important point. He hated the Lord in those births, no doubt. But not in complete absorption in the Lord. So because Krishna has the most attractive qualities, fully manifest, Shishupal and other demons get absorbed in him. So therefore, because of that absorption, all of Shishupal's karma were destroyed. So even hatred towards Krishna gives good results. So that's the point. But however, we should not consider the results obtained by the unfavorable absorption in the Lord equal to the results obtained by devotees through bhakti. So one approaches the Lord through sneha or affection or devotion, he gets or she gets even better results than those who approach the Lord through hatred or fear. So we should not say they are equal in any case. Huh? Because if you see Dvesha and Bhaya are not considered to be part of bhakti. But even if one approaches the Lord in that negative mood or negative sentiment or negative mental disposition towards the Lord, still Krishna gives good results. That is mercy. Huh? So in comparison to that, the devotee gets much more great result actually through favorable relationship, like affection to the Lord and doing service to the Lord. In fact, only bhakti gives the ultimate result. What is the ultimate result? Love of God, prema bhakti. So here the reasons, the results obtained by others who don't have a favorable relationship with the Lord is glorified because of two reasons. One is Krishna is most merciful. To make a point that Krishna is most merciful and Krishna is most attractive. These 2 points just for this. So therefore, Krishna gives the extraordinary results more than any other forms of the Supreme Lord. So now I was thinking about it. So it's not just the negative sentiment towards the Lord also gives you good result. Even if we get very good result even from accidental bhakti. Accidental bhakti means it is not like approaching the Lord with hatred. It is like namabhash. Accidentally someone says the holy names of the Lord or doing some service without knowledge. That also gives a very good result. So what is the result? It destroys the karma completely. A classic example, Ajamil. He just called out the name of his son, Narayana, and his karma is destroyed. So, but accidental bhakti won't make you a devotee, but your karma will be destroyed. So, I'll summarize it. In hatred or in fear or being neutral or accidentally doing some bhakti, or all this gives good results. But these results are not same as performing favorable bhakti with love. So if one develops faith in Krishna and one develops faith in the process of bhakti, then with one's intelligence, one engages in activities favorably and that pleases the Lord, that is much more powerful than the accidental bhakti. If you see, Srila Rupa Goswami gives a beautiful definition or maybe more precise definition of pure bhakti in nectar of devotion. He says, Anya bilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anarvitam anukul yena Krishna anusilanam bhakti ruttama. Meaning the first class devotional service develops develops one when one is devoid of all material desires. Anya bilashita sunyam and jnana karmadi anarvitam, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and the fruitive action. So then only the first class devotional service develops. So here, the line which is very, very important for us to understand is Anukul yena Krishna anusilanam bhakti ruttama. Anukul yena Krishna anusilanam. Pure bhakti means Krishna anusilanam, which is anukulya. Important point. We need to underline this. Krishna anusilanam means engaging in Krishna's service constantly. But how? In anukulya way. Anukulya means favorable. So pure bhakti is actions directed towards Krishna with favorableness. This is pure bhakti. So one way of understanding this term is the actions that are pleasing to Krishna. I just want to analyze this. Actions that are pleasing to Krishna, but if you think deeply about this line, actions that are pleasing to Krishna is pure bhakti. In one angle, it is too extensive or too broad because some people please Krishna even though they are not devotees. For example, Krishna is pleased when he fights with the demons. But the demons are not devotees. So, but this definition makes the demons pure devotees. So we cannot include them as pure devotees. Krishna very joyfully walked into the mouth of Aghasura demon and he expanded himself and choked him to death. Yeah, Krishna was very joyful because he was able to exercise his Virya Rasa. He was very pleased and he liberated Aghasura also. Yes, it was pleasing to Krishna, but Aghasura was not a devotee. So, in that sense, the definition of term anukulya, that is, actions that are pleasing to Krishna, is too extensive. Put it in another way around, or look at it from another angle of vision to this definition, is that it is too narrow, because by this definition, the actions that are displeasing to Krishna is not pure bhakti, isn't it? So then we find the eternal associates of Krishna sometimes displease the Lord. Classic example, Mother Yashoda, Radharani. Let's take Mother Yashoda. When she puts Krishna down to take care of the boiling milk in the stove, she angered Krishna. So if you go with this definition, then what she did was not devotional service, but that is not true, because she is Nitya Siddha devotee. She will never displease Krishna. So with this definition of Anukulya, or pure bhakti includes demons like Aghasura and excludes pure devotees like Mother Yashoda. So therefore, we cannot say Anukulya means actions that are pleasing to Krishna. So we need to qualify it more. So therefore, the more precise definition of Anukulya is, or favorable devotional service means, the actions that are done with the intention on our part to please Krishna. Very important part. So favorable Krishna consciousness or favorable activities in bhakti means the actions that are done with the intention on our part to please Krishna. So if you take this definition, then this includes Mother Yashoda and it excludes demons like Aghasura. Make sense? So now let's look at Krishna's pastime with Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda's intention is to please Krishna by taking the milk off the fire, because with that milk she can make sweets to feed Krishna and please him more. But if Krishna gets hungry for some other reason, that is not our problem. That is not Mother Yashoda's problem. Now take an example of Aghasura. So Aghasura was not trying to please Krishna by fighting with him or trying to kill all the Krishna's friends. Meaning his intention is not to please Krishna. He didn't have a devotion for Krishna. So this precise definition of Anukulya includes all the devotees and excludes all the demons because they don't have intention to please Krishna. So the acceptable definition of Anukulya is actions done with the intention of pleasing Krishna. So that is what we have to see. When we perform activities of bhakti, what is our intention behind that? If our intention is to please Krishna, then we are on the path of pure devotion service. Otherwise, we are in the mixed bhakti. Anyway, so the idea of describing these results or the good results that are obtained by approaching the Supreme Lord with various intentions, negative, positive, neutral, accidental, or whatever, shows that the Supreme Lord is full of wonderful spiritual qualities. So therefore, those qualities themselves are most attractive to the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga, and it helps them destroy the bondage in the material world. So this is one aspect of mercy of the Supreme Lord, to show various qualities. And another aspect is to show various forms, the most beautiful, stunning forms Krishna shows. Again, these forms are spiritual also. So therefore, by worshipping the Lord's form, chanting his holy names, glorifying his qualities, glorifying his activities, we get spiritual results. Very important. And acharyas say that the form of the Lord that fully and perfectly manifests all the qualities in the most beautiful way is Krishna. And that distinguishes Krishna from all other avatars, though they are all same from Tattva point of view. So that's why, coming back to Shishupal, becomes absorbed in Krishna because of his most attractive qualities, most attractive form. But even the demons get attracted to Krishna. I was thinking about it. In fact, the demons get attracted to Krishna against their will. That's another very important point. It's not their will to get attracted to Krishna, but voluntarily, or maybe involuntarily, they get attracted to, voluntarily they get attracted to Krishna because he is most attractive. If that is the case, that's the case for the demons, what to speak of devotees who are willingly, lovingly serve the Lord, and their attraction to the Lord is even greater. Not only they are attracted to the Lord, even the Lord is attracted to his devotees. In this way, Chitraketu Maharaj is praising the Lord's transcendental nature. But unfortunately, in the material world, the jivas are so attached to material body, which is full of ignorance. But by nature, jiva is conscious, meaning very knowledgeable. But by the addition of the contaminations of bodily consciousness, sarva upadhi, all kinds of contaminations, the jiva develops ignorance, and he doesn't even think he is Atma anymore. He thinks he is this body. So in this way, his bodily consciousness covers up the identity of the jiva and make the jiva act sinfully or materially or in a very undesirable ways. But nevertheless, when the jiva concentrates on the Lord, associates with the Lord through the favorable practice of bhakti, these coverings of the jiva can be discarded. So that's why in this verse, Chitraketu Maharaj gives a beautiful example for this transformation. That is, when the seed is planted, after roasting it, nothing will grow from that. So similarly, by worshipping the Supreme Lord, the jivas become like that, meaning the jivas doesn't develop more material bodies. In other words, they cut off the roots for karma, their ignorance is cut away, their suffering is cut away, then they become fully purified. So the best kind of association is favorable association with the Supreme Lord. That means bhakti. So bhakti is the quickest, the simplest, the easiest way to remove the coverings of the jivas or remove all the upadhis. But we should not think that, okay, just removing the covering or the upadhis is enough. That's one effect of practicing bhakti. The other effect is that the attraction to the Lord helps the jiva develop relationship with the Lord. Very important. So it is not just the destruction of material relationships or material attractions. It is also production of spiritual relationships or spiritual attraction. This is very important. So these two things happen simultaneously when we practice bhakti favorably. So when we develop the relationship with the Lord, our material relationships will be cut, and the spiritual relationship develops into prema bhakti or into love of God. And the result of prema is the jivas develop complete bliss, complete happiness, complete satisfaction. And this is the very good remedy for the jivas in the material world who suffers due to karma and other things. And this is the mercy of the Supreme Lord in relation to the jivas who perform bhakti. So that's why there's a very famous verse which is in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which says, Tasmat ekena manasa Bhagavan satvatam pati Shattavya kirtitavyasya deye pujascha nityada. Meaning, therefore, tasmat, with one pointed attention, ekena manasa, don't get deviated, don't get flickered, don't have flickering mind. One pointed attention. One should constantly, Bhagavan Satvatam Pati, hear Shattavyo, Kirti Tavyascha, constantly hear about, glorify, remember, Pujashya Nityada, and worship the personality of God who is the protector of the devotees. Very, very important, with one pointed attention. So that's the idea. You should not get deviated, you should not get distracted. One pointed attention to the Supreme Lord. How do we worship him? We constantly hear about his glories, constantly hear about him, glorify him, and remember him, and worship him also. He is the protector for all of us. I think that's the essence of this verse 39, the way I understood it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That was such a fantastic class. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I know it was a last minute request, but thank you for kindly accepting and presenting. Prabhu, beautifully you explained this verse, the essence of the verse. I just have a few points that I would like to reiterate. You explained about vibhutis and vibhu and how vibhuti is limited and how worshipping devatas is considered less intelligent and the benefits are temporary, whereas worshipping Supreme Lord, the benefits are permanent both materially and spiritually, and it's the highest form. And even though we go to the Lord for material desires, He will still grant it. And in this process, He will also purify us. So no matter what desires we have to go to the Supreme Lord. And then he explained about how Chitraketu Maharaj is saying in this prayer, when we associate with Lord in bhakti, we will also get the qualities, or we will develop the qualities similar to the Lord. And associating with the Lord directly, one sure to go back to home. And why is it very important that we associate with Krishna directly? It's because he's the most attractive and the most merciful. And then you explained about pure bhakti, and you said how pure bhakti means engaging in Lord's service favorably. The key is favorably, and Krishna is pleased with the actions. But then what is the difference? Because even demons will also then please Krishna, but then the point is the intention of those actions. That's what matters. So intention of how we do bhakti is important. And finally, the point is we have to have that one pointed attention and constantly hear about Lord, glorify Him, chant, and think about Him. That is the ultimate purpose of developing the pure bhakti and the love for the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Prabhu. That was a very, very wonderful class. Thank you so much. Devotees, thank you all for joining the BhagavatSanga program today. So good to see all of you all. With that, we continue.